Alright, I guess you want to introduce yourself. I know who you are.
Hey everybody, I'm Caveman. I've been on the ClusterCraft servers for a little bit since we started in November 1st, right? Isn't that when
Yeah,
we started, November 1st?
yeah, I know. It feels like it's been forever.
Yeah. So I've been playing Minecraft for a little over 5 years now. I was introduced to it actually by my daughter. She brought it home, asked me a bunch of questions, and before you know it, I was knee deep in it and trying to figure out more. So I just fell in love with the game, and here
Awesome.
I am.
What a performance. I have to go behind that. I'm Lad. I've been playing since about 6 months after the 1.13 update came out. My brother has been playing since beta, right? So I've seen Minecraft my whole life, basically. I'm significantly older than Tinker, but he was so into it at such an early age that I've known about Minecraft for a long time. I've just never played it. I tried to play it actually when I was pregnant with my son, and my nerves were so frayed that the first creeper exploded. It gave me such a fright that I quit, and I told Tinker I would never play again. And then it wasn't until my best friend a couple years ago was just like, "Hey, you want to play Minecraft with me?" And I'm just like, if my best friend asked me to do something, even if it sounds like the most dull thing in the world, I'm just like, "Yeah, sure, okay, we can try this."
Yeah.
So I did, and now I'm a mess. Now I live on Minecraft.
Same here. Same here.
Okay, well, we're gonna start with softball questions, and that's just
Okay.
because we got a couple of questions from the other clusters because I didn't have a list of questions. So we're going to start with some softballs, and these are from me.
Okay.
Star sign, for all those
I am
people out there.
I'm a Taurus.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a Taurus.
That doesn't surprise me somehow. That makes sense. Now I understand why we get along so well. I was born on the Aries Taurus cusp. So there are days where I'm more Aries, and there are days where I'm more Taurus.
Oh, I am full blown in the middle of a Taurus.
I was born right on the cusp between Aries and Taurus, as the moon was at its fullest. 3 in the morning is when the star signs change. I was born at 3:12. So depending on the day and what mood I'm in, I can get angry like an Aries, or I can be stubborn like a Taurus. It's kind of a mess, actually. It doesn't do me any favors.
Yeah, it's a hard mix.
I guess the next question is, I know for certain, like Eastern, I know particularly in Japan, they don't use star signs. That's a Western thing. They go with blood type.
Really?
I'll go first. I'm a type A, so I am an A positive, type A personality. I blame the Aries for that. This explains why we get along so well. Was there anything you wanted to talk about?
I'm really kind of excited about what's going on here in ClusterCraft. I mean, we've only been in for a month. I've seen majority of everybody's bases, and I see what everybody's working on. So I'm really excited to really see what everybody's plans are for the future here. Being that said, I was wondering what maybe you think of ClusterCraft so far.
I mean, I live here. I've basically said I have a bed in the back. I live here now. I quite like the place. I like the people. I mean, so everybody on ClusterCraft server, we're all friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very small group. We started out on the premise that we would all just kind of hang out. Very early on, we realized we would have no diamonds. Nobody has any diamonds.
No.
So there's no real bartering in diamonds. We had to barter in other things. And about this time, we also discovered the Nether glitch.
Mm-hmm.
May it rest in peace and never come back.
I hope so.
And it would just eat items. You would die and your items would despawn seconds later. It just ate entire inventories.
Yeah, me and you found that out in the Bastion.
Yeah. Oh my god, it was so bad. So, with that glitch and everything that came with it, there was a lot of time spent trying to help other clusters. Everybody would just drop everything and go to the Nether because we knew we only had seconds on the clock to go find their stuff.
Right.
And we usually still wouldn't even find it, but we would try. Something about it, I don't know exactly, maybe the stars online, maybe we were already pretty good friends, but I don't think I've been asked for currency this entire time I've been on the server. I just said I needed sand, and Vim trucked 8 shulkers full of sand over here for me.
Wow.
I would have paid him, but he didn't ever ask for it. And he also knows that if he needs something, I will drop everything and come get it for him.
Yeah, yeah. Me and Melly did the same thing not too long ago. Melly was in the need of some red terracotta, and because I live in a mesa, a huge mesa, she asked if she could get 8 stacks of it. And I said, sure. I'll grab it for you and take it to your base. I ran it right over. Not even asking, she just handed me like stacks of iron. I like that. I like the camaraderie that we have here in ClusterCraft, and we joke around with each other, and we've had a couple meetups where the first episode, for example, the shipwreck was really a test of that. It showed great how we all can work together because it showed itself really well in the dragon fight.
I thought it was funny. The first episode, not a lot of the audience got to see that, but we went from absolutely shooting the breeze 1 second to I'm over here calling action, and then suddenly everyone's in character, and there was nothing to precipitate that. In fact, It was so out of the blue that Tinker was convinced that no one would be in character, which is why he kept asking about the scuba gear. He figured everyone else was just faking it.
I'm sitting in a blaze farm trying to fix tools right now. I've got so many projects going on. That's one thing that I love about this server as well is, it's just project after project, but I don't get tired of it.
You'll never run out of stuff to do. Especially when you're friends with me. If you need content, boy, I got you. I got plenty of crap that needs done.
You and I have had some pretty fun times already on this server. I know with the Bastion and then our in-city raids.
Pretty sure we're not allowed to have any more fun. It's a general rule.
I need to go do some of those runs with some other of the cluster crew.
Yeah.
I haven't really ran with Tink, and he's the one that kind of brought me into the ClusterCraft.
I know, he was singing your praises, and I just had to trust him because he's my little brother. But I was like, yeah, I mean, he seems cool enough. I thought you were significantly more cool when I realized that you weren't his age.
Yeah, no, there's this definite significant age gap there. So
we go all the way from teenager, and then Tinker, who's early 20s. I'm almost 30. We've got some 30-somethings, and then you and Lacey are.
So me and Lacey have talked about that, and it's fun being kind of the older group here, working with teenagers, mid-20s, early 20s, and the latter. But we have fun with everybody. I mean, that's what's great about this game, Minecraft. It brings people together.
God knows we need it right about now.
Yeah, exactly. And with this pandemic and everything that's been going on since last year, pretty much. I mean, really honed in early this year, but this has been a way for people to connect, and it's shown itself right here in ClusterCraft. So I really enjoy this group. Like I said, earlier, and with the age gap, you would think that there'd be some differences, but it's just shenanigan after shenanigan and just fun times with this group all around.
We have people who are from the deep south. We've got the Midwest. We've got East Coast. We actually have one of our members is actually from Germany. Yeah. And you wouldn't tell as well as we all get along.
So tell me what's the future of ClusterCraft? What do you think is the end goal for us? What are we looking at future-wise?
Near future or far future? Near future, I just want to get this wall up.
Yeah. Did you see the last episode?
I think so. Wasn't that the one with the bathhouse?
Yeah. Yeah. So out of all the buildings that you could build in the Western civilization, I build the first one as a bathhouse.
I'm pretty sure the cowboys didn't even bathe. So I know yeehaws to this day who don't bathe.
Yeah. We won't talk about those. The lure of the town is, old Western time, and I'm actually focused more towards a build similar to the movie Cowboys versus Aliens. It'll be interesting to see what transpires as I finish doing the town and what I'm gonna put in that alien ship.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I've got some great ideas for it, and I just got to see them through, and hopefully they do work. Yeah, I'm trying to use the mechanics of Minecraft in that alien ship. While all of the people that are trapped in the alien ship are kind of subdued by this light above them. And so they're standing still, and there's some ways to make that happen in Minecraft. That's one of the things that I'm looking forward to in my build.
Tinker and I have been trying to get a server together for years. Just
really?
It's actually to a ridiculous degree. I think we started 5 or 6 servers together, and it's just we've never had the right people. Now that we've found the right people, we're kind of protective of them. We don't add people very quickly. We're not planning on adding a whole lot of people at all. The mix between content creator and non-content creator needs to be protected. Like, you can't have, as much as I love having them around because they're so helpful, you can't have a huge disparity between the sides. There kind of needs to be a little bit of everybody, but there can't be a large majority of either.
No, right. And, speaking of that point, we have content creators, which we call CCs, obviously, for short. And then we have non-content creators, NCCs for short. But can you expound on that a little bit, Lad? And just, let the viewers know what...
I feel like you're interviewing me.
I know, right? I think well, the reason I ask you like that is because I think you know more about, because you and Tinker were the ones that kind of set this in motion. And I think Lacey was part of that with you, because the NCCs have been very helpful.
Yeah, that's their job. The role of the NCC is to act as a helping arm and sometimes a chaotic influence on a CC. So their job, they pay the same amount of dues as anybody else. Everybody is required to pay the same amount of dues and thus get the same amount of vote power. So every vote is worth 1. It doesn't matter if you're a member from the beginning or you're brand spanking new, just minted off the line yesterday. If you are in ClusterCraft, your vote is worth exactly as much as my vote, or Lacey's vote, or your vote, Caveman. Every vote is worth exactly the same amount.
Yeah, and I've seen things sway, certain ways. I know I've voted certain ways and seen, majority of everybody else go a different way. So, everybody's voice is just their voice in this ClusterCraft crew, and that's what I like about this. There's no power struggle or anything like that. Nobody really owns.
Yeah, I've seen a impassioned speech against something sway the entire vote. Like, votes will change. So I love TNT dupers. They're so nice. I don't want to dupe everything, but TNT dupers, I need them. I need them in my life. And we sat there and made an impassioned just plea to everybody about TNT dupers, and then Chirk got in on it and was just like, you know what, TNT dupers could be awesome, guys. Imagine all the farms we could make.
Right.
Like, you could build and never have to worry about wood again because you could have a TNT duper powered wood farm.
Right.
And eventually, because of that, oh my god, we need it. We changed the entire vote. I mean,
for the record, y'all, I still voted no, but
Tinker. Okay, let's flick through these questions. There's a couple of questions that people have given me on our server, which y'all should join our server if you haven't.
Yes.
We'll leave a join link in the description.
Do you have any, are you just gunning it, or
like a style guide?
A style type thing? Yeah.
Every time I build, I try to build differently. Every time I'm just like, I don't know how to build. What if I'm not a very good builder? Everybody's got anxieties. That's fine. Is that because I only started 1.13 and I was late to 1.13. One of my biggest anxieties is that I'm not good at it. I'm just not. Right. Which, that's stupid. Don't ever let your internal brain say mean things to you.
No. I understand that completely. I really do.
So, because of that, I always sit here and I'm constantly trying to get better, and I'm trying to get better at a decreased pace. Because I gotta catch up with my brother who's played since beta. But yeah, every time I build something, I actually try to pick a totally new style. This is a new style even from what I'm used to doing. I'm a big builder. I build on a very large scale.
I think that's how we met. We were on a different server
Mhm.
at that time, and I actually met Tinker. I didn't. I saw you. I saw your character, but I didn't meet you specifically.
Probably because I
And
was like knee deep in a build, and I was just like, okay, hi, bye.
you were, but when I first saw that, I was shocked. I didn't even know what to say.
And then you promptly fell off my balcony
Yeah,
and
yeah,
died.
I
I was
did.
like, yeah, there's glass there, but if you fall off, I'm not responsible for you.
I did. But you know that just showed me, you know, there's no limit. There's absolutely no limit to what you can do in this game. You know, and I've always told my daughter that, you know, in playing this game, just let your mind wander, and you'll be amazed at what you come up with.
That balcony claimed a lot of lives.
Yeah, I'm
We had a
sure it
friend.
did.
I swear to God, every time he came, and Hibis. Oh, Hibis was the worst. Every time he came to my house, he fell off the balcony and died. Every time. Every time. And Hibis did it too. Every single time. It's like Hibis has fallen from a high, or Hibis has fallen to his death or whatever in the chat, and I'm just like, come on, bro. Y'all know where the glass ends. Come on, bro.
That you know that castle that you guys built. I mean, you guys went from bedrock to build limit, build height.
Yeah. Tinker was working up at build height, and I was working at bedrock.
Yeah.
And we were meeting each other in the middle. When I built that thing, I constructed it completely in survival. I did not have a Lightmatica for it. For all of the people who don't know about Lightmatica, it is a schematic program for Fabric that has been updated to 1.16.4.
It's been a learning curve for me, actually, this season.
Same. I've never built with Lightmatica till playing on ClusterCraft.
Yeah, and it's so I've had my issues with it. I've needed help a couple times of how to turn it off.
But normally I build off the cuff. Because of that, Lightmatica, I use it almost like a world edit, and not in the way you'd think. I don't actually copy and paste things into the world. What I do is I take a schematic of what I've already built, flip it around with Lightmatica, put it in position, and that way I can guarantee that every single time I build this tower, it's going to look the same.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. You know, symmetry is got to be a big thing in those type of builds that you do. So.
Not always. There are certain ones I actually go out of my way to make them not symmetrical. I wish I'd been able to finish that cathedral that you saw me making, but it was not in the cards. That was eventually going to have a different element down each hall. One was underneath the harbor, so I was going to make that water themed. Mm-hmm. And they were all going to culminate into a beautiful tree growing through the light that filtered through the center of the cathedral. It played on light and shadow. I literally designed it so that the center portion of it was so dark that you couldn't see the black glass everyone kept falling off of. But that
it was trickery.
It was trickery. It was completely trickery. I was trying to keep it dark because when you get a stripped spruce in a certain light level, it almost looks like burnished gold that's been left to tarnish.
Really?
Yeah. And that was the whole point of it, was if I got it dark enough, it looked like burnished gold. Especially because I had loom blocks, the bottom sides of looms, mixed in to actually turn it a yellow hue. And then in the walls, there was gilded blackstone, which actually did have gold in it. Between that and the light level, and then I was color correcting with the cyan glass and cyan concrete in the corners, it made it look like burnished gold. And that was the whole point of it, was in order to get that color, I had to lower the light level past what was considered safe. Mm-hmm. And the only way to make it safe at that point was to only use non-spawnable blocks. So every single inch of that place, all the floors were made of glass so that nothing could spawn, because the light levels were dangerous. everything was like a light level 3 or 4.
Yeah, definitely have to throw that up if you can, because it was a tremendous build.
And I don't have any finished product screenshots of the once all the towers were in. What is the greatest influence do you look at to push to be better?
Well, for this first season, I pretty much stayed in my comfort zone building, on the Western theme.
Mm-hmm.
But I did add that little bit of turn there with the alien thing that I'm still working on.
Yeah.
And I'm anxious to see how that turns out, because that's not a normal build type for me. It's more futuristic type. So I am trying to incorporate, another build style into my repertoire. Fancy
Would
words
you
there.
say that there's any creators that you look up to that really inspire the way you work?
BOO. Yeah. I just love the way that he is able to put a spin on so many different styles that you don't see unless he points it out. It's amazing how he's able to do that. So I love watching him do his builds. Another one which I want to get used to doing is terraforming it. So another one that I follow is Scar. Good Times with Scar.
Yes.
He has some just his terraforming expertise. Me and my daughter both, we just love watching that, just for the simple fact that he just amazes us with the way he builds that stuff. So, but yeah, those are the two that I really, I like watching, and I really focus on their builds.
I like to watch, B-Dubs is awesome. I love how he textures things, and he's the guy who got me thinking outside the box, especially since there's no gentle golds in Minecraft. I don't know how to... gold comes in your face and nothing else in Minecraft. So I had to really think outside the box, because the influence for the cathedral was actually Ely Cathedral in Great Britain. I think the things that always inspire me is real life. I love actual architecture. I'm actually kind of a stickler for making sure my architecture is right. Nothing annoys me more than people who are like, it's Japanese architecture. Oh, is it? I get so cranky. You should hear me yelling at Tinker sometimes. He's like, it's a Victorian mansion. I'm like, 1, it's an Edwardian. 2, it's the wrong color. I never would have painted it that color. Even if we suspend our disbelief and pretend that this is late Victorian, why is it purple? I think because of that, I'm really bad at the more fantastical elements of Minecraft. The whole cathedral was built off of one single picture I found on Pinterest of the interior looking up at the ceiling of Ely Cathedral in its main circle. I thought it was so cool, and I thought that the lines could be reproduced in Minecraft, and that was where it all began.
Nice. Very, very nice. Well, I hope one day that I'm able to create something that huge. I mean, I usually stick to small modern builds, or Western civilization type builds. So I think, as we progress through, ClusterCraft, we do season after season, hopefully.
Hopefully. Gotta get lonely without Caveman.
I hope that I'm able to push myself to those limits and make things of that nature. I'd like to learn Japanese builds. I'd like to learn Victorian, things of that nature. So definitely looking forward to the future of ClusterCraft and playing more with this group. It's an amazing time every time I sit down at this computer.
Absolutely. I'm glad to have you here, Caveman. I'm really glad. I was just like, well, why don't we invite Caveman? And Tinker's over here like, I've been saying that. I'm like, well, now I'm saying it. Best decision we ever made.
Opportunity, trust me.
Best decision we ever made. Okay, well, thank you for joining this Q&A, Caveman. I'm glad you're here.
No worries. It was fun. A lot of fun. Let's do this again.
If you all have any questions, please post them in the comments below. I love hearing from everybody. But yeah, if you've got more questions, post them in the comments. Probably collect them, and whenever we do the next Q&A, we will talk about them.
Sounds good.
See you later, y'all.
See ya.